Hello friends, welcome to Misty Moon Designs. I'm Louisa, and in my studio, I offer jewelry making tutorials, unboxings, and creative design ideas. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced designer, hopefully you'll find my projects and tips helpful. And today we're going to be making a very pretty necklace and a matching pair of earrings as well. And we're going to be using the beads that came in Sam's bead box for the month of December. Now, if you're not familiar with that box, I'll leave some information down below in the description section of this video, along with a link to the website and a coupon code in case you're interested. And don't forget that I always model my pieces at the end of my tutorials, so please stick around for that. As you can see, this double strand necklace has an asymmetrical design, and the colors are definitely very earthy and very suitable for this time of the year. I'm going to show you step by step how to put together an asymmetrical design and how to connect everything so everything drapes properly. Now, before we jump into the tutorial, I do want to give you a quick peek of the contents of this box. I'm just going to spend a few minutes showing you the contents in case you're not familiar with this box. And if you want to skip forward, you can always click on the timestamps down below. So let's go ahead and get started. Here we have Sam's bead box for the month of December 2024. As you can see, the name of this box is Winter Cabin. So that gives us a little hint about what's in the box. And I can't wait to see what's in it. So let's go ahead and open it up. As you can see, they always include an insert with all the details of the beads. And the retail value for this box is actually $84. And on the left is the retail value of each of the items. And on this side is a little write-up, which I'm not going to read today, but it's always fun to read about what inspired Sam's bead boxes. And this one was actually put together by Shira, Dawson, and of course Rachel and Sam as well. And they do have a Facebook group page where you can share your designs by using the hashtag Sam's bead box December 2024. So let's go ahead and pull it out. And here's my candy. I love it. Let me pull out the contents. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at these colors. Absolutely gorgeous. Let me get organized and we'll take a quick look at each of the items. Here are the first 6 strands. I love the combination of brown and blue. It's very attractive, that's for sure. Let's take a look at this one. These are smooth rounds and they're agate and they're dyed, and the color is listed as brown mix. They're 6 millimeters in size, and this is a 14.5-inch strand. And here we have a strand of check glass table cut rectangle beads. The color is Amber, Topaz, Picasso, and they measure 8 by 12 millimeters, and there are 9 pieces on this strand. And by the way, Sam's bead boxes always contain check glass beads and gemstones. And here we have a strand of Druck rounds. The color is Smoky Topaz with an AB finish, and these measure 4 millimeters in size, and there are 50 pieces on this strand. And here we have a strand of Fairy Tale flower beads. The color is listed as Woods and Frozen Lake Mix, and these measure 11 millimeters in size, and there are 8 pieces on this strand. And here we have a strand of free-form rectangle aquamarine beads. These measure 8.9 by 11 to 13 millimeters. Like the description says, they're free-form, so they're not all going to measure the same, and there are 8 pieces on this strand. I love how some of them are transparent. So beautiful. And here's a strand of fire-polished rondelles. The color is Smoke / Montana Blue Mix, and these measure 3 by 5 millimeters, and there are 40 pieces on this strand. Let me get some more strands. Here are the next 5 strands. And did I mention there are 11 strands in this month's box? That's really generous. Let's take a look at this one. These are Iolite Pebble Nuggets, and they're grade A/B, and they're mostly 8 to 12 millimeters. I'm assuming that's the length, it's not the width of each one. But anyway, this strand is 7.5 inches long. Now, I've never heard of this stone before, so I'm going to see if I can pronounce it correctly. They're called Demortierite Gem Cut Coin Beads. Never heard of this stone before, but as you can see, it's a beautiful blue color. Look at this one. That one's different. Very nice. And here we have some bicones. The color is jet black with blue silk, so it's a mix. And these measure 6 millimeters in size, and there are 50 pieces on this strand. And here we have some very tiny beads. They're listed as spacer rondelles, and the color is royal blue silk, and these measure 3 millimeters in size, and there are 100 pieces on this strand. And here's the final strand. These are melon beads, and the color is royal blue and gray silk, so there are 2 different colored beads, and these measure 6 millimeters in size, and there are 22 pieces on this strand. So these are all the strands, Let me get the loose items now. Here are the next 4 items. I'm just going down the list. These came in 4 separate bags. If you're not familiar with Sam's Speedbox, let me just tell you, they always give you a variety of sizes and shapes and colors and finishes as well, so you have lots of choices. I'm going to go ahead and slide these on some rods and we'll take a closer look. We have a coin bead on the left and it measures 18 millimeters across and it's listed as a wildflower coin bead and the color is Montana blue with a bronze wash. Look how beautiful, guys. It's transparent. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. Let me get something white behind it. Let me just spin it. Look how beautiful that bead is. It's absolutely stunning. I love that it's transparent. I've always liked transparent beads for some reason. But anyway, on the right are some long geo-oval beads, and the color is brown topaz, and they measure 10 by 17.5 millimeters. And here we have some maple leaf beads, and they're actually 2-hole beads, which is nice, and the color is amber topaz with a gold wash. I'm going to have so much fun with these. I love 2-hole beads. These are so pretty. Here we have some nuggets with a pearl coat, and the color of these is royal blue, and these measure 12.5 by 15 millimeters. And here we have some more nuggets with a pearl coat, but these are a little bit smaller, and it's actually 2 that came off the strand, so there's a total of 6, and these measure 9 by 11 millimeters. And here we have 2 adorable cat beads. The color is charcoal gray with a silver wash, and these measure 11.5 by 17.5 millimeters. And there's the back. These are so cute. Let me get some more beads. And here we have the last 5 items. Look at these beautiful metal components. And I love this bead mix. Let me go ahead and slide some of these on my rod. Here are some of them. These are 5 polished rounds. And the color of these is winter mix. There's actually 4 colors. Topaz, blue, clear, and black. Or maybe it's a dark blue. I'm not sure. I think it might be a dark blue. It definitely has a blue coating of some kind. But anyway, these measure 8 millimeters in size. And there are 30 pieces. I love that this one has a hole that's lined with copper. That's so pretty. These are called Marquise oval beads, and the color is blue silk gilded bronze, and these measure 7.5 by 18 millimeters, and there's a total of 6, as you can see. And here we have some more leaf beads, but obviously these are a different shape, as you can see, and they're also drilled differently. They're drilled across the top. There's actually a total of 3 topaz colored ones and 7 of the clear ones, and all of them have a gold wash, and these measure 9 by 14 millimeters. And here we have a very pretty pendant. Look at the shimmer in this stone. Oh my goodness. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a labradorite oval pendant, and it's front drilled, and it measures 15 by 30 millimeters. These are listed as cobblestone charms, but they're actually big enough to use as pendants. They measure 23.5 by 28 millimeters. And there's the back. They're the same on both sides. And these are super cute. They really are. They're listed as hammer-toned semicircle links, and they measure 7.5 by 15 millimeters. They're the same on both sides. And here's the final piece. This one's called an open teardrop, and it measures 21 by 35 millimeters. And as you can see, it has a hole on the side there. That is so cool. Let me arrange everything on my table so we can see the whole collection, and then we'll jump into the tutorial. And here's the entire collection. There is so much to work with here. I am so impressed. I've been impressed with pretty much all of Sam's bead boxes, to be quite honest. And of course, like I mentioned before, the thing that I really love about Sam's bead boxes is that there's so much variety, which makes designing very easy. And of course, they always do such a great job of curating the colors. Look at that. The browns and the blues is absolutely stunning. And I think my favorite has to be this coin bead right here. But I also love the strand of aquamarine. And this iolite pendant is absolutely gorgeous. If you have some time, I'd love to hear your opinion. If you could leave some comments down below, that would be really nice. So now we're going to go ahead and jump into the tutorial. Let me get the materials for that. Here are the beads from the box. And by the way, Happy New Year. I can't believe we're already into 2025. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season. I certainly did. It was very quiet though. We just stayed home and had a quiet celebration. But anyway, let me go over these beads with you. In this tray, we have some check glass bicone beads. The color is jet black with blue silk. Each one has both colors, which makes them very interesting looking. And they measure 6 millimeters in size. And in this tray, we have some table cut rectangle beads. They're check glass as well. The color is amber topaz Picasso, and they measure 8 by 12 millimeters. And down here's a beautiful coin bead. It has a wildflower design with a copper wash, as you can see. Let me give you a close-up. Look how gorgeous that is. It's so beautiful, guys. It really is. Now the color is listed as Montana blue with a bronze wash, but to me that looks more copper, or it's a mixture of both copper and bronze. Let's just say that it's a bronzy copper tone. And here we have a fire polished round. It measures 8 millimeters in size, and it's a kind of a topaz color. And my cat just walked in. He's probably going to want to jump on my lap. I'm going to have to make sure he doesn't get on the mat, especially with all these beads around. He has done that before, believe it or not. I'm sure those of you who have cats have experienced the same thing. But anyway, now he's on my lap, so hopefully he'll settle down. And this bead is called a long geo oval bead. The color is brown topaz, and it measures 10 by 17.5 millimeters. And here we have another coin bead, but it's more like a puffy coin bead, and it is faceted. It's actually a gemstone. It's called dumortierite. I hope I pronounced that properly. And it measures 10.5 millimeters. There are actually 8 on the strand, but I picked one that had a little bit of blue in it. As you can see, these other ones don't have as much blue, so you might want to check for that. If you can find one with blue, that would be better because it would pick up the blue from these beads. So let me show you what I had in mind. I'm going to move these out of the way for the time being so they don't get knocked around. My necklace is going to have 2 strands at the bottom. One of them is going to be beaded and the other one's going to be chain. And by the way, I am using this chain. This is actually from my own stash. I got this at a gem show, and as you can see, it has some really interesting links, and this is in a copper color. Of course, I'm also going to use some jump rings and a lobster clasp, but I'll bring those out later on. So one side of my necklace is going to have this bead, and the other side is going to have these 3 beads, like this. And then I'm going to have a beaded strand and the chain strand below that. The beaded strand is going to have one of these bicones, a rectangle bead, a bicone, rectangle, bicone, something like that. And then, like I said, below that I'll hang this chain, just like that. I think that's really pretty. I'm going to be using some 20 gauge wire, and I'm going to be doing some simple loops. Here's the wire I'm going to be using. The color is called vintage brown, and it's kind of a cross between a bronze and a copper, in my opinion. I find that the craft wires out there that are antique copper colored are too reddish, and this one is a little bit more earthy. So let me show you how to do this. I have a piece of wire here. It measures about 1 1/4 inches. I'm going to grab it with my round nose pliers about 3/8 of an inch down. I don't want my loops to be too big. And now I'm going to grab the end, making sure it's flush, and I'm going to create a loop. You want the loop closed and you want it centered on that pin, on that wire. And by the way, the wind is blowing like crazy today, so you may hear the wind up against the windows. I think we had a front come through or something. So now I'm going to grab a bicone and slide it onto my wire like this. I'm going to grab the wire right above the bead, bend it. Using flush cutters, I'm going to snip off the excess, leaving 3/8 of an inch. Once again, I'm going to grab the wire with my round nose pliers, making sure it's flush, and I'm going to form a loop. It's always a good idea to line up your loops by using 2 pliers like this. And that's my first beaded component. Very, very easy. Here I have a slightly longer piece of wire because that bead is longer. I think it's about 1.5 inches. I'm going to grab it 3/8 of an inch down, bend it, grab the end of the wire with my round nose pliers, form a loop, make sure it's closed. Let me just center it like that. Slide the bead on. Don't you just love that Picasso finish on the side? It's a bluish color, very pretty. Once again, I'm going to bend my wire, cut off the excess, leaving 3/8 of an inch. Grab the end and form a loop. Let me straighten it. And now I'm going to line up my loops. So now I have 2 components, and then to connect them is very simple. You simply open up one loop like this, slide the next component into it, and close it up. And that's all there is to it. So I'm going to go ahead and create the beaded components off camera, and I'll connect them as well to save time. And then I'll come back and we'll assemble the rest of the necklace. So I'll see you in a few moments. As you can see, I've connected all my components. I also connected the focal beads. Initially, I was going to put this one on the bottom, but I changed my mind. I think it looks better like that. Now, one thing I want to talk about are the loops on these components and how they're going to connect to the rest of the necklace. The best thing to do is to make sure you have an odd number of beaded components. You don't want an even number. And let me explain why. These two at the end need to connect properly to whatever it is that you're connecting them to, whether it's strands or jump rings. And if you have an even number, you're going to end up with the loops on this one perpendicular to your mat or vertical, and the ones on this one would end up being parallel or horizontal. So as you can imagine, it won't be connected properly to whatever you're using, whether it's chain or another strand or a jump ring. I hope that makes sense. I know it's a little difficult to understand if you're new, but you can still have an even number. The only problem is the last component would have to have one loop that's vertical and then the other one that's horizontal. So now let me get the chain for the bottom part. Here it is. I actually had to change my chain because I noticed a defect in the one that I was going to use originally. Let me show you. Can you spot the defect? These two diamonds are linked together when they shouldn't be. And I can't believe they sold me a piece of chain with a defect because it's not cheap. But anyway, I can use it for something else. Sometimes I separate the links and use them for components on an earring or a bracelet. Nothing goes to waste. And if you don't have fancy chain like this, that's okay too. You can use roller chain or cable chain that has big links or small links. It's up to you. Now, if you're using chain with small links, you don't have to worry about how they connect to the rest of the necklace. But if you're using chain with big links, the same principle applies. You need to have an odd number of links so that these two connect properly. So anyway, let's go ahead and connect everything. Here's a jump ring. It measures about 6.5 millimeters. And here's another one for this side. Obviously, I'm going to need another jump ring to connect this component to the jump ring, because if I don't, then it's going to sit vertically or perpendicular to the mat, which I don't want. If I don't do that, then this jump ring's going to flip around when you wear it, and that can be a little annoying. Here's a 5 millimeter jump ring. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to slide this component into it like this. And now this jump ring. Oops. And I will make sure that I close that properly once I connect this component. Here's another one for the other side. And now let me work on this side. I'm going to open this jump ring up, slide this strand into it, and this component, and close it up. And of course, you don't have to do it this way, guys. You could start out by attaching the jump ring to this strand and then connecting the two strands and this component to the jump ring. You could do it that way if you wanted to. Let me just turn this loop this way. As you can see, this large jump ring is sitting parallel or horizontal, and that's what you want. So now comes the difficult part. I want to make sure that this loop on this beaded component is vertical, so it connects to the large jump ring properly. Let me just make sure the rest of the chain is sitting flat. And I want to check the loops on all of these components. You don't want them all twisted up. See how this one's twisted up? So that's how I'm going to connect this one. So now let's see if we can connect everything properly. going to open up this jump ring, slide it into this loop, like that, and now this component, or this strand I should say, and close it up. And that looks really nice to me. I love it. I think it's very pretty. Definitely asymmetrical, which is the look I'm shooting for. And the rest of the necklace is going to consist of these kinds of beads, the little ones. I've already created 2 strands. Each one measures about 6 inches. And I used the same kind of wire, 20 gauge, and I did simple loops on all of these as well. It doesn't get any easier than that. It's actually a very simple necklace to make, but it does take time to create all of these beaded components and to link them together. So let me go ahead and connect these strands. I'm simply going to open up this loop, slide the strand into it, and close it. Same thing on this side. So now we need a clasp. Here it is. Here's another 5mm jump ring. I've already opened it. I'm going to slide the loop of this component into it and close up the jump ring. So now my clasp is connected. Here's another 5mm jump ring. I've already opened it, and I'm going to attach this 6.5mm jump ring to it, and I'm also going to slide the strand into it as well, like that. And now let me close it. So here's my finished asymmetrical necklace, and I know you can't see the whole thing. Let me just move my camera up a little bit so you can see the top. It's a super long necklace, but I am going to model it at the end of my tutorial, so please stick around for that. But anyway guys, I hope you like it, and I hope you can make your own. I think it looks very attractive. So now let's go ahead and make a quick pair of earrings, quick and easy. I've already made one. Here it is. And I don't know if you can hear my cat. If I'm gone for more than an hour, he goes looking for me. It never fails. And I don't mind because he's a great companion. He really is. You want to get on my lap, boo-boo? But anyways, you can see I use the same beads. I have that puffy coin bead and the oval bead and one of the bicones. Here's the coin bead. Here's the oval bead and one of the bicones. I'm going to start by mounting this one on a ball head pin. Here it is. I'm going to grab the pin with my round nose pliers at the top of the bead like this, bend it, switch to this part of the pin, wrap the pin around the nose of the pliers, flip the pliers around, continue to wrap to the back. I'm going to grab that loop with these pliers. These are actually crimping pliers, but I like to use them because they have skinny tips and they grab really well. And with these pliers, I'm going to grab the tail and do a couple of wraps. Let me snip off the excess pin. Tuck in the little tail. And for these two, I'm just going to use 20 gauge wire, the same wire that I used on the beaded components. I think this one measures about 2 inches or so. So once again, I'm going to bend it at 3/8 of an inch down. Grab the end, form a loop, make sure it's closed, and actually let me straighten it a little bit. And I'm going to flatten it. I've been flattening my loops lately. So now I'm going to go ahead and slide this bead on, and this one, like that. Obviously I didn't need this much wire. So once again, I'm going to grab the wire above the bead. And by the way, you do need a little space there to create that bend, because you don't want to crush your bead. Snip off the excess, leaving 3/8 of an inch. Grab the end, form a loop, and let me just make sure my loops are parallel. It looks like they are. And now I'm going to go ahead and open up this loop. Here's an ear wire hook. I'm going to slide it in, and now let me close it. Open up this loop now. Slide the bottom dangle into it and close it. And this earring is finished. I think it's a very nice set. And if you wanted to, of course, you could make a bracelet. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to do it today. But you can certainly do it because there are a lot of these beads left over. You would just link them the same way and then add a clasp. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and I hope you can make your own necklace and earring set. Like I said, I'm going to model it for you, so please stick around. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.